Dre, can you hear me?
Yeah. Peace. Can you hear me?
Peace. Yeah, hear you loud. I thought you forgot about me.
Nah, man. Just had a little family things I had to finish up doing. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
okay. I was like, yo, he fronted. I'm saying, I said, yo, because
Nah,
I'm like, all right, I didn't see, like, he didn't get it, whatever. I was like, oh man, he fronted, but or
yeah,
whatever.
nah. I ain't. Listen, I'm a man of my word. I ain't gonna never tell somebody I'm gonna do something and don't do it. You know what I mean?
Right. Word. So we're gonna get into it, yo. So you started making beats at 8.
Yeah.
Did you really know what you was doing at 8 years old?
I thought I did.
Word. So it's like, and you got a keyboard from one of your family members, right?
Yeah. One of my homies and shit. You know what I mean? He passed away. God bless the dead.
Mm-hmm.
You know. He was just. It was just given to him. Like,
Mm-hmm.
can I curse on this, John?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it was just given to him like on like some toy type shit, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right.
And me and my friends, we was like all outside playing, and you know how kids be or whatever.
Yeah, right.
And he brought it out and he had it, and everybody was just passing it around.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it got to me, it never returned. You know what I mean?
Word. Wow. What was it? What do you still have it?
it was like, huh?
Do you still have it?
Oh nah, bro. I'm 40, man. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
well, like 10 years old, 10 years old, something
Mm-hmm.
like that back then.
What
So
was the name of it?
it was a Casio.
Ah, okay. So
Yeah, like a little Casio drum.
right. Now, were you sampling or just playing?
Oh nah, when sampling came later. At the time, I was just trying to, I
Mm-hmm.
was playing around. You know what I mean?
Playing around with it. Right. So, did
Yeah,
you really make any beats on it like that? Was there a sequencer and things that you could?
yeah. But it was like
Mm-hmm.
you know beginner level. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
but
So,
it did. My
that,
fault.
no.
But yeah, it did have like a recording type of, you know what I mean, John on it, so I was able to like record my sounds and then come back and add more to it. You know what I mean?
Word. That's ill. So after that, where did the progression come in? What came next?
I So let me see what came after. So I had that, and then like a lot of other producers,
Mm-hmm.
you know. All right, so let me. I would start here, but I was about to tell you how I got into like sampling. So, but
Okay.
let me say, so I had the Casio drum, and
Right.
then I had like a little stereo with a with
Mm-hmm.
a with a microphone that was built in it. You know
Okay.
what I mean? And so what I would do is like I would take the speaker from the keyboard and kind of like put it up to the microphone and then
Mm.
let the beat record into it like that.
Yeah,
You
no
know what I
doubt.
mean? And then after that, then like me and my crew like we freestyling or whatever. We ain't know nothing about writing song structure, none of
Right.
that. And so my pops, he had a big stereo set, you know what I mean? And he'd be at work a lot or whatever like that. And so while he was at work, I would basically bounce the music into the stereo and press record on that, and then like we'll all just be up to the speakers just freestyling, and that was like my way of recording. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But so after that, um, I started to do the pause tapes.
Okay. Yeah.
You familiar
Oh,
with that?
yeah. Of course.
Yeah, I started, and the first one that I did was I remember the first one and the second one. The
Mhm.
first one that I did was the Reasonable Doubt, not Reasonable Doubt, I'm sorry, but the Dead Presidents, the Jay-Z Dead Presidents instrumental.
Mhm.
It was like some pieces at the end, and I
Right.
doing a pause tape with that. And then the second one I did was Scarface, Mary Jane.
No doubt.
You
No
know what I
doubt.
mean?
Right. So you were making beats and then you started rhyming.
I was rhyming first. I was making beats to have something to rhyme over.
Right. Got you. So fast forward to today. What are you using to make beats today?
Well, right now I'm using a machine. I'm
Mhm.
I'm using the machine, the Mark 1, and I got the Mark 3. I've had the Mark 3 for like 4 years, bro, and it's
Mhm.
still in the box,
Right.
the plastic, all that. You know what I mean? But I use machine,
Mhm.
and I use FL Studio 11. I'm stuck on 11. I don't like none of the other versions. Like I've had the other versions, it's just
Right.
deleted them. But
Right. So I've heard stories about machines that the buttons were too stiff, like horror stories. I mean, is that true?
I guess it depends. Not for me though. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I guess it might depends on where you come from. Like people with the MPCs, they might have a different feeling with it. I never used the MPs. I was machine.
Right,
So
right, right. Yeah, because I always started with the MPC 2000 XL.
right,
And
right, and that's what I'm saying. So, but I am aware that the pads they feel different
right.
on the
Yeah, yeah.
MPs.
I've never played with machine before, but I've heard stories. Some people like it, but a lot of people say they didn't like it because they got it stuck. Some dude tried to sell me a machine recently or whatever. You know what I mean?
I love machine, bro, for real, for real. But so what I do, like I feel like machine is really good for my chopping, chopping the samples or whatever like that. And then when I get musical, I'll take everything and I dump it
Right.
into FL Studio. Then I'll put the keys in and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. You know what I mean?
Word. So with the machine, is it how's the workflow?
I love it. I
Mm-hmm.
love it. You know what I mean?
You
It's
can
like
bring
it's
in
really,
whatever.
really easy. It's easy, but I'm gonna tell you, it's funny because it's like easy for me, but it takes longer than if I did everything in FL Studio. I just like like in FL Studio.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so machine, I like what I mean, like being able to
Right.
hit the pads and the whole. You know what I mean? I
Right.
just
Right. Right.
damn near majority of the stuff that I do in machine, I could do in FL Studio, and I
Mhm.
was doing in FL Studio,
Right.
but the machine just took me back to like when we're talking about older equipment. I had I told you about the Casio,
Right.
but then after that, my pops bought me like some real equipment, and
Mm-hmm.
then I had like a damn man, I can't think of the name. It's like a Boss SP.
The 202 or the
Yeah, one of them John. Yup.
yeah, yeah,
That
the
was
little
the first sampler I had.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's funny because I'm seeing them come back. Like I'm seeing
They
like the
are.
new generation deal with them. I'm like,
Yeah.
yo,
That
that's what I
303.
started with.
Yeah, that 303 is very popular. I think
Yeah.
Madlib still uses the 303, but they say it's a very hard machine to like make beats on, to really learn.
I haven't tried the newer versions, but I would say the only thing about it was like, how like with the FL Studio Machine MPs, like you can actually record everything that you do.
Right.
The one that I started with the I think it was the 202.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that. So I had a what's it, a 16 track recorder, like a what was it, a
Yeah, yeah,
cord.
trackboard, yeah. I had
Yeah, and so
I
I
had
would
the
just
Forcex, yeah.
yeah, so I had a drum machine,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had a drum machine, I had a actual keyboard, a
Mm-hmm.
Triton that my pops bought
It's
me.
right.
No, it was a Yamaha, matter of fact.
Yamaha, yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
that my pops bought me, and then I had the sampler drum. And
Right.
so that was all my, and then I had drums and guitars, all that
Mm-hmm.
other
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that.
Right.
But and so that's why I started with that type of setup. And
Right.
so, like I said, going back to the machine,
Mm-hmm.
it brought me back to that. Except I'm actually able to record,
Right.
what I'm doing and build on it. You know what I mean?
So how did you know it was time to move on to the machine and not stay with what you had?
That's a good question. I just started to miss the feeling of
Mm-hmm.
doing this.
Yeah, banging on the
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I mean, obviously you're a producer, so you know what I
Right,
mean.
right, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's just like I could sit here at the keyboard. I mean, at the computer all day on FL Studio with the mouse and just do
Yeah.
everything or whatever. But it just don't feel the same as like. And then at the same time too, like the I don't know, bro. I feel like the machine it sounds different
Mm, right.
versus FL. Even when I dump my files from
Mm-hmm.
machine to FL, it still has that. It just has a sound to it and like a
Right,
feeling. You know what I
right,
mean?
right. Yeah, because banging on the pads, it makes it feel like you're a part of the beat. Because
There you go. There you go.
you feel
That
like you're
exactly.
putting yourself in your rhythm and
Right.
instead of click, drag, click, drag. You know what I mean?
Right. It's
And
a
things
different
like that.
feeling.
Yeah, it's a much different feeling because I never really got into the computer-based beat making. So, like I said, I went
Right.
from the MPC 2000 XL for like over 20 something years, and I finally got the MPC Studio, the silver joint with the
Yeah.
pads. So it's like a combination of both. I'm looking at a computer screen, but I'm still banging on
Right, right.
pads.
So it's the same with machine. You kind of like, at least the one that I got, because they got a newer machine, which
Right.
I think is trash.
Mm-hmm.
The machine plus.
Okay.
That's what it's machine plus, where you don't like have to have it plugged up to a computer or
Right.
whatever. You know, but it don't got no battery though. It's not, you know what I mean? So you still got to plug it up. It's supposed to be like a standalone.
Right.
But to me, like, well, if I gotta plug it up, I can't take it out in the nature and get
Yeah,
busy with it
yeah,
if I
and
want
get
to. You
busy.
know?
Right. You can't do any of that. So would you call yourself a gear junkie? Do you plan on buying more gear, or are you gonna stick with this for a while, the machine?
Yeah, nah. I mean, I feel like I'm gonna stick with this. Like I said, bro, I got a newer machine that
Mm-hmm.
I've had for about 4 years, and
Damn.
it's still in my,
Box.
yeah, it's still in the
Right.
box, the
Yeah.
whole nine. You know what I mean? Still in the closet and all that. I never opened it up enough. I plan on doing it at some point, but just right now, I'm like, well, if it ain't broke, I don't need to
Right,
fix it.
why fix it? Right. So
Yeah.
why did you buy it? Someone gave it to you? Or you just bought it just to buy
Nah, I
it?
bought it. I bought it because
Mm-hmm.
I was just I don't know, like I was seeing like Ninth Wonder and like,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Right.
certain producers like use it. I'm like, yo, I'm wondering like if
Right.
it's a different vibe with it or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Because
I
I
just
know.
decided to cop one, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't feel no urgency to just
It's
use it.
funny how you mentioned Ninth Wonder because he was on FL, then he went to the MPC 2500. So I guess he wanted to bang on pads as well.
And then now he's on machine.
Mm.
Yeah, he's on machine. Do you ever watch Ninth Wonder's Rhythm Roulette?
Yeah. He did that.
He did that on machine. The
Is that the
machine
same one you
3.
have?
Yeah, no, well, yeah, the one he did that on the Mark III. That's the one that I got that I haven't opened.
Right.
But that's
God.
the one. And then Knots,
Mm-hmm.
he used the one that I got.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, and that's another producer that made me want to get the machine, the one that I'm using. Like I
Right.
was on like IG and I was seeing Knots get busy on that zone, like
Right.
every day posting stuff. You know what I mean? And I'm
Right.
like, I gotta get me one of them.
So do you think as a beat maker today, you have to keep upgrading your equipment to stay relevant?
No.
So right now, you're saying, hold on. So you're saying that someone like me, I can have an SP 1200 and still be a relevant producer and produce for these guys in underground?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I've always went by the saying it's not the gear, it's the ear.
I like that.
You know what I mean? So that's what it's all about. And then plus nowadays, like a lot of the, the production, it's like kind of going back to the traditional, sound anyways. So I feel like a person would be lucky if they can go back and, work with the older equipment, because a lot of the new equipment is just niggas just trying to imitate that basically.
The old equipment.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go into sampling. Like, are you digging in the crates?
I do it all, bro. To be honest with you, it just I feel like it's all about what the job called for. I guess you could say. I dig with records. I'll do some shit off YouTube. I'll use a pack if I got. It's just make it sing. You know what I mean?
Right. But what do you prefer?
What I prefer,
yeah.
A mixture between digging and if I find some dope samples off YouTube, that's cool too.
Right. Now, do you have a go-to genre, or is it just a free for all?
Yeah. I gotta go to. I got maybe like 2 or 3 go-tos, to be honest.
Right. Now, what about the dollar crates? Are you against dollar crates? Because I'm a dollar crate digger. I don't like to spend a mad money on records. That's just me.
Nah, bro, I'm not against none of it. You know what I mean? Like when I feel like when it comes to doing this, there's not many rules.
Right.
As long as you're creating something that's dope and you ain't like biting off of nobody or nothing like that.
Right.
Like it ain't, long as that's all that matters really to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that is true. That is true. All right, so you go to the record store, right? You're digging, right? And you have a certain genre you go to. How do you know to buy that record? Do you bring a turntable? Are you looking at the cover? Are you reading the back, the credits? Who did this?
I'm looking at the cover, bro.
Right. Me too.
I'm looking at the cover guy. If it pop, I'm like,
right.
it's probably some heat on here.
Right. Right. So you don't bring a turntable. You're the type that and you go home and say boom, get that
Yeah,
surprise.
because how I see it is,
Mhm.
if I bought it, I'm gonna make something out of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I feel like the only fear of
Hmm.
um buying a record and like
Hmm.
needing bringing a record player with you is kind of like want to kind of be safe with it. You know, there
Hmm.
ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying it's like I don't know. I just don't deal like that. Like, I'm like, well, if I paid for it, I'm gonna bring
Right.
it home. I'm gonna find something and make
Right.
something out of it.
To do something with. So what's the most you'll spend on a record?
$60.
So for one record for like a album or
Yeah, yeah.
$60. But when you spend 60, got some heat on it, or you just spending it off on the whim.
I'm just spending it on the whim, bro.
Ooh, that's a lot of bread for one record. $60. I'm buying 60 records at the Dollar Crate.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, but I look at it like this, man. I've been blessed, bro. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Musically, I've been blessed, and to where I make a living off of it. You know what I mean? So
right.
it's like I look at it like, yo, I'm just investing in my craft. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna make the money back anyway. So I
Got
don't
you,
really trip on it like that too much. You know what I mean?
got you. So now, when you dig on, let's say YouTube, you typing in a genre as well, and just going through a playlist, or is there certain channels that you deal with that have all of that?
Yeah, yo, listen. So there was channels, bro, and I thought I had like the
Hmm.
secrets. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then I started to see like, yo, it was mad other producers, even Mad Lib. Like it was like mad other producers that was like also, digging with these channels. Sometimes I still go back to it too, you know what I
Right.
mean? But I kind of try to stay away from 'em as much as
Hmm.
I can. But it's a couple channels, man, that be providing some really dope samples. So it's kind of hard to stay away from it
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah.
But knowing that a lot of other producers are also using these channels. I
Right, right,
use
right,
those
right,
channels.
right, right, right. Now, if you came across a sample that another producer used, do you bypass it, or do you say, "Hey, let me see what I can do"?
Yeah, it depends.
Mhm.
Um, One, it depends on the sample. Like if
Mhm.
it's a big sample that's been used
Mhm.
a bunch of times, I'm gonna
Right.
leave it alone. Or if it's a sample that like somebody like a producer that I like super super respect have
Mhm.
used and they made a big record out of it, I usually like try to stay away from it.
Yeah, you just stay away
But
from.
sometimes though, like I'll hear some joints and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna use this. But let me try to do it different.
Now, this
Than
is a crazy question because I'm old school or whatever, but I'm not familiar when it comes to these sample packs. What are these sample packs that brothers is using? They get these sample packs. It's just
yeah,
what.
it's basically
Mhm.
people they got different views on it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Mhm.
Me personally, I look at it as no different than sampling a library song. It's just all it is really is just non-library music.
So what is it? A sound? Like, is it some
Nah,
people?
it's like it's somebody you met. Like to be honest, bro, you
Mhm.
know, some of the top producers are using these,
Mhm.
and I know for a fact because I would hear certain beats,
Mhm.
and then I'll know I've heard this in the sample pack on
Mm.
some of the biggest albums. You know what I'm saying? Like Kanye using them, Hit Boy using them, Timbaland using them, Alchemist using them. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? But it's
So
like it's basically it's a producer that's classically trained, most likely stuff like that, and they just make original music for people to sample.
got you. So it's not necessarily a bunch of records or a bunch of songs. It's a bunch of just different sounds and riffs that you can take and
Yeah,
manipulate.
different. I would say soundscapes.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like it's music that's art. Sometimes it may even have the vocals on it, but it's music, and then
Right.
you can just take it and just chop it. And then if you got a relationship with the person that created it, they'll send you the stems and
Right.
all that. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Do you think that process is easier than digging? Just buying sample packs? Because or just makes the workflow faster.
It depends. It depends on how you're using the sample pack.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It depends on how you're using it. But yeah, I could say it could make it faster.
Yeah, make the
You know what
process
I mean?
faster. Yeah. Because you know with all this music that's constantly coming out, constantly, you gotta constantly be saying
Oh damn, bro! I think it's froze up.
when when you gotta produce beats, because you produce beats for a lot of people.
Right.
Huh?
Hey, bro, it froze up though, so I kind of like missed the last maybe 30 seconds of what you were
Dre, you
saying.
there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
You there?
Yeah.
All right, no, all right. So what I was all right, cool, no problem. Yeah, I hear you loud and clear. Good. So what I was saying is like we were talking about the sample packs and how it make the workflow a lot faster or whatever. And I'm saying with the way all this music is coming out, music comes out constantly. So you have to constantly be creating. So it's like, who really has time a lot of times to really go out and dig and buy records and listen to these records and make these beats?
Right. Right.
You know,
Right.
it seems like like the way the music comes, you got to constantly be able to access something real quick. So do you think the
Yeah.
sample packs is really does that?
Yeah. Yeah. The sample packs do help in that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it
Okay,
does.
got
I can't say that much.
got you. So on average, how many beats are you making a day?
Mm, maybe about 10.
10. And how many
Yeah,
of
but
them
that
are
depends on if like I'm producing every day,
right?
but how many beats that I'm actually sitting down making.
Mm-hmm.
It's not every day, but it's like at least between 5 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
Um, at least 3 days out the week because, like I said, I got a bunch of beats. I got thousands of beats already, like in my computer. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
And but I'm like producing because I got like maybe like 12 albums I'm working on right now, and
right.
so like I'm producing every day, but actually sitting down making the beats
Mm-hmm.
is not every day as much as it used to be. I'll say that much.
Got you, got you. So let's move on into drums. Now, are you getting your drums off vinyl packs? Where the drums coming from, and do you have preset drums already, drum patterns already made, or
Nah,
loops
nah.
ready so you can, when it's time to make a beat, it makes the workflow easier? How does that work?
Right. Yeah, nah. I mean, for the most part, all the above. I might get some from a pack.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them come from like records
Right.
that you know what I'm saying, and
Mm-hmm.
then I create them myself too. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I was just wondering, every time you make a beat, do you sit down from scratch and find new drums, or do you just have drums like a drum pattern already, preset, and you just,
Yeah, I don't
add?
never have a drum pattern. Yeah, I don't
Mhm.
ever have a drum pattern preset already because I feel
Right.
like it's like I don't know, bro. I think it's like I usually just go with what the song called for. Like you know what I mean? Like if I'm working on something,
Hmm.
and then also has to do with like how much time I
Hmm.
got at that particular moment.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? So if I got like a nice amount of time on my hand, I'm going through records
Right.
to find them. But if I'm trying to, like Payne, for example, right?
Hmm.
RJ Payne, when I'm working with him, bro, I gotta work like that.
Mm.
And we've always worked like that. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And so um I might sit down one day. He might be like, yo, I need you to send me some beats. So I might have to pump out like 20 beats in a
Right.
day. You know what I mean? And
So you
so when
wouldn't
I
go.
do
So you wouldn't go back to the computer, to the thousands of beats you got. You want to give him something fresh.
yeah, something for us.
Something fresh. Okay.
Yeah.
Got
So it's usually like 20. I might go see the thing about him though, like what I would do, I might send him something. Like
it.
say for example, he might be like, yo, I need some beats. So I might send him like 75 joints, right?
Mhm.
And at the time he might be just in the mood for some soul.
Mhm.
So he might just gravitate towards the soulful joints out of
Mhm.
that particular, folder that I sent him. And so he might bypass the grimy joints. And
Right.
then he might hit me the following week, like, yo, I need some grimy joints. So
Right.
the same grimy joints that I sent him, I'll
Mhm.
send him again, but along with some newer ones, and then he might even go and pick some of the joints that I had already sent him before. You know what I
Got
mean?
you. Got you. So getting back to the drums, right? Are you against looping up drum breaks?
No.
Or does everything have to be chopped and you have to replay everything?
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, as long as it sounds dope, bro. You know
Right.
what I mean? As long
Right.
as it sounds dope, that's just like my biggest thing. You know, when creating music, it's like this. You know what I mean? I look at it. I know the word art gets thrown around a lot lately, but I've always looked at it like that, like art.
Yeah.
This is art,
Mhm.
and um, nobody can really, tell you how to paint your picture. Like,
Right.
who can tell you, like, yeah, you're doing that wrong, unless you blatantly like looking at like a Basquiat and like, okay, I'm trying to repaint this Basquiat. Like, oh,
Mhm.
now that's doing something wrong.
Gotcha.
You
Gotcha.
know what I mean?
Absolutely, I agree. So when it comes to the beat making process, do you start with the sample first or the
Yeah.
drum first?
Yeah, the sample or the melody always come first, then I do the drum last.
Why is that?
Because I feel like the sample or the melody gonna tell me what to do with the
Mm.
drums. It's gonna tell me exactly what type of drums is needed.
Right, right. Yeah, because I noticed Alchemist says nowadays, which I started doing nowadays as well, because I fluctuate. Sometimes I'll start with the sample, but I notice nowadays I start with the drums.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? Because I can demo the sounds over the drums and I can get a feel for, you know what I'm saying, how the
right.
joints feel. And I used to start with the sample too. It just fluctuates. You know what I'm saying?
But it's funny because it's like being the son of a drummer,
Hmm.
and me kind of growing up with that.
Hmm.
Is a lot of people would think that I would start with the drums first, but
Right.
don't. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Wow. Interesting. Interesting. So getting more deeper into the beat science, like when you make a beat, like how many tracks is each beat for the most part
Each um
on average?
yeah, okay, on average, because I'm about to say it's just all about what it costs
Yeah,
for.
yeah, on
Um,
average.
yeah, maybe 8. Oh, no, so we count each individual like
Each
drum
individual,
sound.
I mean, it could be that too for the most part. It could be sample, kick, snare, drums, like on
Okay, so yeah, maybe about 15.
15.
Yeah,
So
because of
15,
the
15 tracks, right?
yeah, because with the samples or whatever like that, then with the keys, the bass line,
Hmm.
each drum percussion and all that. Yeah,
Right, right, right.
about 15.
Yeah, and speaking of bass lines, like, do you think every beat needs a bass line?
Nope.
So you've made beats, of course, without bass line. Now, when you do your bass lines, are you actually playing off because you're classically trained as well, right?
Yeah,
So you know music theory from what I read too. So you actually play out your bass lines?
not all the time.
Hmm.
Sometimes I'll use the bass line from
Hmm.
the sample that I'm working on.
Right,
You know what I
gotcha.
mean? Like for me, that's why I have two engineers that I work close with, right?
Hmm.
Because I feel like a big part of my beats is the EQ. You know what I mean? So if I send my joints to the wrong engineer, it's not gonna sound like how it's supposed to sound because they don't know the way
Hmm.
my beats is mixed. And so a
Hmm.
lot of the times it's like for the sample, if I don't play nothing in it and it already got a dope bass line in it, I'll just make sure I turn up the bottom frequencies so that bass line could bleed through.
Gotcha, gotcha. And so when you're playing, like if you're playing the bass line off a keyboard, are you playing it straight up, or are you sampling yourself playing the keyboard
Nah,
and
I'm playing it straight up.
all right. So how do you? All right, because a lot of times we're sampling these dusty records. Sometimes that sound like contrast. Coming from a keyboard that has a cleaner sound versus a dusty record. Is that all within the engineer making that work?
Yeah, it's all within the engineering on that one.
Okay, so you have an engineer that you really trust that can help bring that
Yeah,
sound.
two of them. You know what I mean?
Mm. Two of them. So are you sitting side by side with them while they're doing the mix, or?
Nah, because
Mm.
they be busy in studio sessions working with a lot of big name people and stuff like that, but they know, like, when it's time to get busy with me, they know what time it is. You know what I mean? So
Right,
a lot of
right,
times,
right,
because
right.
one of them is he's actually from Turkey. He just moved to the States
Hmm.
maybe like 2 years ago, and then the other one, he from New York. I live in California.
Yeah, yeah. You're in Sacramento, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. What's
Yeah.
the vibe like out there on the hip
Oh
hop
man, huh?
on the hip hop scene? What's the vibe like?
It's dope, bro. It's like it's really dope. You know what I mean? Like I would say it surprised me a lot
Mm,
when I first came out here. It surprised me a lot because
mhm,
I was thinking everything was, and no disrespect or nothing, but I was
mhm.
just thinking everything was like hypey and like, oh, coming from the East Coast. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
Like,
right. True indeed.
yeah, I'm coming from the East Coast, so I'm thinking like,
Mhm.
no, especially like it being Northern California.
Right.
I was kind of under the impression that it was just, and it is a lot of this particular type of sound but at the same time, it's like a lot of dope boom bap artists and MCs too. You know
Mhm.
what I mean?
Right, right, right. And you work with a lot of them out there, or you just strictly strict with your own little camp? Like the local,
I work.
like the locals out there. You work with any of them?
Yeah. I work with a few of them. You know what I'm saying? A
Right.
few of them that's like really doing their thing out here.
Gotcha, gotcha. So moving on, I want to talk into the science of like selling beats and getting these beats to these artists. Now, you work with a lot of people, right? Now,
True.
are people really these guys, the law preems and all the people you work with and all of that? Are these people really buying beats, or you just giving them beats to get your name out even more? How does that work?
It depends on the situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it depends on the situation. Like most of the time, like if I'm doing a whole album
Mm-hmm.
with a person, then we just busting it down the middle. You know what I'm saying? As far as we splitting the profits together. But
Okay.
if it's like a one off to where just somebody just want to beat it to from me, then I'm selling it. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right. And so, how do you know when to sell a beat and when to say, "Hey, man, let me give you on that on the arm because it's going to help me"? Is it depend on the artist? Is it a big
Yeah,
like
I could say that. Like it has to make sense because like I said, this is my livelihood. Like this is
right,
how I feed my family. So
mhm,
it has to make sense for me financially. You know what I mean?
right, right, right? So, like for example, let's say a Planet Asia,
Right.
he wants a beat from you. Are you giving him the beat or are you selling him the beat?
I already gave him like two or three.
On the arm?
Yeah. But in return though, like he'll, you know what I'm saying?
Or you some
Do a
verse?
verse or whatever. Like, you know
Right.
what I mean?
So, would you say nowadays a lot of the game is more so trading?
Y- y-
Mhm.
Yeah, to an extent. You can
Right.
say that.
Right. Because I'm just wondering, as a sample based beat maker, like, is there really money in this as a beat maker?
But see, but you know what? I'm gonna give up a secret though.
Uh-huh.
That's where the sample packs come in. Use that
Mm.
because you can. I mean, or like if you use a splice, which I've never used that before, but I also use TrackLib
Okay. Yeah.
where you can actually clear the samples through
Right.
TrackLib.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right. 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 But even with that, with so many people making beats, I mean, how does one really make a career? Are you making? Is your money really strictly coming from beats?
Yeah,
Just making beats?
yeah,
Because
bro.
long gone are the days of getting 20 G's, 30 G's, 50 G's a beat, back in
Right,
the early 2000s or whatever. You know what I mean?
right.
When you got people who were just as nice selling beats for $50 or $100, leasing those beats like on BeatStars.
I've never had a BeatStars account before,
Right,
but I would say credentials play a part in it.
right.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like that plays a part in it, and a lot of the times, bro,
Hmm.
it's like they coming to me for the beat, of
Hmm.
course, but it's also this is what's being paid for.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can tell a person, oh, I got a joint from PA Dre, and they feel like it'll get them a certain type of look. You know what I mean?
Right, right,
So
right,
that
right.
plays a part in it as well. You know what I mean? And then plus, for me, I have a lot of music that I get paid off of every month
Hmm.
from streams and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like people be talking about how like with the streaming, like yeah, I mean, if you're not doing numbers or if you're not like if you don't have a bunch of music out or working with the right artists, yeah, streaming is gonna be trash. But I mean, like I said, fortunately for me, man, I've been blessed, so I've been able to work with a
Yeah.
lot of people and stuff like that, and so I've been able to every month, I'm receiving royalty checks and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So
Would you say it's harder for a sample-based producer to really get paid consistently in this game nowadays?
no, it just depends on how you're going about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It depends on going because, like I said, I'm a sample based producer.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's just like I said, a lot of the times the issue is like how big is the sample that you using?
Mm-hmm.
Because now it goes to the point where if I would tell you this much, if you creating something that's
Right.
gonna be really difficult for the artist to put out, that's
Right.
where the problem gonna come in.
Mm.
You know what I
Got.
mean? Like I said, if you're going, taking a route like through TrackLid or whatever like that, you can clear something for like $50. And I think now they make it to where if you got a certain type of subscription, you don't even got to pay to clear the sample. You got to go through the process
Right.
of filling out the paperwork or whatever. But I
Right.
don't even think you got to like pay. And then like when you're doing like the packs or whatever, you just got to split the publishing with the co-producer basically. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. So, what are some of your pet peeves in this game that you have?
Um, Pet peeves are okay. I would tell you one is like the people that know they don't got no money
Mm-hmm.
and hitting you up about beats,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's just like, oh, I'm gonna get with you next week. Or I'm like, I know the go to. I know when I'm never gonna hear from
Right.
the artist again. Is
Mm-hmm.
when they tell me, oh, I'm gonna hit you up when I get paid. I'm gonna hit you up next week. I'm like, okay, yeah, I know this.
Yeah,
And
you
then
know.
sometimes the whole like fronting like you trying to buy a beat just to hold a conversation.
Mm.
Because I get that a lot too. Like people DM me and then they make it like they're interested in doing business.
Right. Now,
And
are
all
these
that.
are these dudes in the underground that have names, or these are like local?
Nah.
Mm.
These are just like I don't want to like disrespect no music artists. We all out here trying to do our thing, but it's just not people that's just not
Mm-hmm.
established or like that. They're
Right,
trying
right,
to like what I mean. They might not even understand how the business goes.
right. All right. So let me ask you another thing. So you work with said artists, and you give him a bunch of beats. Say you give him like say 20 beats, but he uses 15 of those beats. He's got them. Do you
Right.
say, hey, them other 5, give them back because I can circulate them to someone else?
Oh, they know. They know. Yeah, just because I sent them to you don't mean that they're yours.
Right.
If you're not using them, and then I also got a rule where it's like, yo, if I send an artist some beats and I don't hear nothing about it in 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
then I'm gonna take it as you ain't interested. Now these goes back into on the market or go back to whatever else that I got. You know what I mean?
Has there ever been an issue where you gave someone, let's say, 20 beats, they used 15 beats, they held on to them 5, and then you gave the 5 to someone else, and then now all of a sudden they're using the other one, the person you originally gave them 20 beats to that used 15 beats is now talking about, oh, I recorded something to them 5 beats, but you already gave those beats to, I mean,
That happened before, man.
and that's aggravating.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy? Because I'm not gonna say no name, but it was
Right.
a big artist.
Mm-hmm.
That happened with, and it was crazy because it was like the thing that sucked was that I would have rather it went to that artist, but it was like you came back 2 years later and like, yo, I recorded something to the joint you sent me
Right. That's
forever
what I'm
ago.
saying. Right.
And I'm like, damn, my nigga, if I would have known that, I would have, but I used it.
Right.
But what I would do is I'm like, yo, just send me the record, like send me the stems. Let me see if I can rework something.
Right.
And then it usually work out like that. You know what I mean?
Right. All right, so let's talk about this new project you got out. That should sound fire, man. That should sound
Thank you,
fire,
brother.
man.
Thank
Oh
you.
man, I was listening to that shit. That should sound nice.
Thank
That
you.
should sound nice. That's Akil.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's fire, yo. I enjoyed that album. I'm still playing
Appreciate
that.
you.
It's dope,
Thank
man.
you.
So, I mean, how did you develop a relationship with him?
Let me see how that come about. I know he was
Mm-hmm.
he had been wanting to work with me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And Um, I was doing some work with, you know, his right hand man's YNX from
Right.
Buffalo.
YNX, yes.
Yeah, and that happened through my homie Gully TV.
Gully, yeah.
We had I'm not sure if you heard it or not, but we did a compilation
Pillmatic.
last year. Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's how I know who you are. Pillmatic.
Oh, well, all right, though. Gully gonna love to hear that too. He gonna
I like the Gully. I like his dribble. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's you know, that's my homie, man. You know what I
Right.
mean? But so that's how I was more like I was kind of aware of YNX,
Right.
but I wasn't like super aware of him
Mm-hmm.
until we did that project. And it's and what happened. Then you asked me about a kid, but let me just try to say how I led up to it.
Right.
So I did the project.
Mm-hmm.
YNX was on it.
Mm-hmm.
He turned in his verse like super quick, right?
Right.
And so I was working on uh another project. I'm trying to think. I can't think off top what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I was working on another project, and I'm like sitting with the record. I'm like, yo, I need a really dope feature for this record.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I thought of homie. You know what I'm saying? I hit him up. I'm like, bro, I got this record, man.
Right.
You know, I'm gonna send it to you and see if you can, you know, slide a verse on it, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I bullshit you not. He sent it back to me in like 20 to 25 minutes, and it sounded like it took him like a month to write it. And I told him, I said, yo, I appreciate that. You know what I mean? But you know, did you have that verse already? He was like, nah. I'm like, bro, come on, man. I'm like, did you have that verse? Because I'm like, there's no way
Right.
that you sent the verse back that fast. And it was like some Jay-Z type shit. It's like, there's no way. And she was just like, yeah. He's like, yo, I'm like, all right, bet. I'm like, I'm about to send you something else. And then in the next joint that I sent him, it was specific topic.
Right.
So I'm like, so there's no way he can get around, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Sent it to him, saying, I said, oh man, this is incredible.
Right.
And so me and him started working, and I knew him and Akil, they got like a group together called Dusty Souls.
Okay.
And so he put Akil on our album on one of the songs. I'm like, yo, homie, dope. So I started checking for some of his music, and I was just like, yeah. I'm like, yo, he dope. And then that was pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? And I had put out a tweet last year, and I was like, yo, I'm like, I got this passion project that I've been wanting to do for a really long time. I just need the right artist to do this project with.
Right.
And I'm like, but I'm not gonna say what it is because there's somebody gonna bite my idea.
Right.
You know. So then he inboxed me on Twitter like, bro, man, I really want to, you know, I really want to work with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know exactly what this project is, but I'll do whatever I can and, you know, help bring it to life.
Right.
You know? And so I told him what it was. Well, the album is out now, so I'll
right. Yeah, I was gonna say it, but I was gonna let you say it.
Yeah, so I'm like, yo, I've had this vision for about 4 or 5 years, bro. I wanted to do an album like strictly sampling Nina Simone. Right. He like, bro, she used to live like around my neighbor because you know he from Mount Vernon. I think he live in Buffalo now, but he from Mount Vernon.
Right.
So he like, yo, she used to live. He like, yo, I actually did a song up on one of her samples. He's like, man, I studied Nina Simone, and and that was the whole thing too. When he said that, like, yo, because I'm like, whoever I do this project with, they gotta like be familiar, like with her. You know what I'm saying? And like, I'm not saying we doing like a biography type of situation, but you gotta understand what she stood for and understand the importance of this music. You know. Yeah. So you know, when he told me that he studied her. And I'm like, okay, that brought me in. Then he sent me the song that he had,
right?
Over something that had sampled her music already. And I'm like, I bet. Which I was like 90. No, I was 85%. So on the idea. Right. But I'm like, I got this beat, like the first beat that I actually like made for the album, but it wasn't even an album yet. It was I just had one beat. Right. And I'm like, if I could find an artist that can do something with this beat, then I'll go on and finish making it. You know what I mean? Right. So I sent them the beat. I'm like, man, here go the record right here, which is actually the first song on the album, the Young Gifted Black joint.
That's just dope, man.
That was the first beat that I made for the album. But the you know the transition, like when the beat changed, all of that wasn't there yet. Right. You know what I mean? So I sent him the beat. I'm like, yo, let me see what you can do with this.
Mm-hmm.
He sent me the record back, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, bet. I'm like, I'm gonna send you two more.
Mm-hmm.
Sent it to him, and he was able to keep up, and he was able to do what was needed.
So how
And
long did it
that's
take the album to come together?
with this album,
Yeah. How long did it
man.
take? If he's
What you
busting
say?
them out like that, it shouldn't have took no time.
Yeah, well, my part um didn't take too long
Mm-hmm.
as far as just creating the foundation. You know what I mean? The
Right.
beats, whatever. It didn't really take too long. I was knocking them out like every day, pretty
Right.
much. But getting the features and
Mm-hmm.
getting his verses on there, though, like he was knocking them out, pretty quick. But
Mm-hmm.
it was a few records that I would say I sent him
Mm-hmm.
that took him some time, and
Right.
he'll tell you that. You know what I mean? There was a little bit, I would say, maybe a little bit more challenging. And then like the very last song on the album,
Mm-hmm.
well, not the very, because it's 12 tracks. The 12th track is like the outro. So
Okay.
the 11th track, that's actually the actual song, the last song on the album.
Mm-hmm.
Took the longest. It took maybe about 4 months to complete, 3 or 4 months, because and my part, the beat was already there, and Akil's verse was already there. But like
Mm-hmm.
I was super, super, super intentional about that song, about
Right.
what I wanted out of it. You
Right.
know what I mean? And so it was like we was trying different people on the song, and it was like what they was doing wasn't trash. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't what I had envisioned. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
And so
Right.
that
Right.
one took the longest for me to just get everything
Mm-hmm.
to work out exactly like how I saw it in my head.
So for that project, you just made 12 straight beats for this like, or was it a bunch of beats with happening some more samples and y'all picked
Not
out?
every beat that I made was used for the album.
Okay, so you made 12 beats basically
Well,
for,
12, you can let me see. Was
is
it
it 12 or
12?
4? I think it's like 12 or 14 songs on there.
Well, no, it's 12 songs, but um, the first song has two beats. The first, because the beat changed,
Right.
and then the fourth song, the beat changed on that too.
Right.
So you can say about 14
So
beats.
14, yeah. So you gave them basically 14, you made 14 beats and boom, that was the album. It wasn't like you had 22 beats of
Yeah,
being
nah, yeah,
picked
nah,
out.
yeah,
Got
nah.
got you. Cool.
And then like the first record,
Mhm,
actually, I did the beat change
mhm.
after the song was completed.
Completed. Right. You
Yeah,
went back.
because the second or the third verse, the feature that's on the first song,
Right.
when he sent it to me,
Mhm.
I changed the beat and
Mhm.
built it under his vocals.
Right. Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. So my next question before we wrap up is, what are some of the mistakes you made in the game as far as a beat maker that others can learn from?
Some of the mistakes, marketing.
Mm, mhm,
Marketing myself. One thing that I would tell producers, like, yo, market, because me being an MC, which I'm not really rapping like that anymore
right.
lately, put it like that. But me being an MC, me coming from that, um, I knew I'm like, marketing yourself is important. So it's like I'll market myself like a rapper.
Right.
You know what I mean? And which would get like all my beats in the beginning. Who did it? Like
Right.
I never wanted to be the like, damn, I didn't know you did that. I never wanted to be that
Right.
producer. Some producers don't care,
Mm,
whatever like that. But me, nah, I never wanted to be that because it's like that's how you brand yourself. So when you hear, my tag at the beginning of the record, you know what I mean? That's just a part of my brand.
right.
You know what
Right.
I mean? So
Yeah.
that, and then like let me see what else mistake that I may have made. I've been doing this for a long time, so I know it's plenty of mistakes I may have made.
Mhm.
But I would also say knowing the business, man.
Mm,
Like it was actually Razzcast that had taught me um certain things about publishing.
right.
Like I had only knew about uh publishing as a composer,
Hmm.
like a writer slash composer,
Right.
but I didn't know about being registered as a publisher.
Mm,
And you get two publishing checks
right.
when you register yourself that way. You know what I mean?
Right. Wow. Cool. All right. So we're gonna play this game, right? This is like reminiscent of Drink Champs. All right. Even though we're not drinking no liquor, but you gotta choose one.
All right.
All right, you gotta choose one. Some of these you're gonna be mad at me, like, yo, why you doing this? But we're gonna go. First one.
Hold on, real quick. So I gotta choose. I can't say both.
You can't well, I'll let you say both, but I really want you to choose one.
Okay, well, no, I'm gonna do it. This your platform. I'm gonna do it like how you asked for.
All right, so choose one. All right. And if you don't know the people, it's like I don't know that person, but you should know these people. Number one, Camouflage Monk or Denny LaFleur.
Camouflage Monk.
Okay. Derringer or Conductor Williams.
Derringer easily.
All right. Here's the hard one. The Alchemist or DJ Muggs.
Alchemist easy.
Okay. Number four, Big Ghost LTD or Spanish Ran.
Spanish Ran easily.
Okay. Five, Clipto or the Historian.
Clipto.
Okay. Number six, Nicholas Craven or Ninth Wonder.
Ninth Wonder.
Number seven, Madlib or Jay Dilla.
Jay Dilla easy.
Okay. Number eight, Large Professor or Diamond D.
Large Professor.
Number nine, Pete Rock or DJ Premier.
This the one you got me right here.
Right.
I gotta go with Pete Rock though.
Okay, all right. Number 10, Marley Marl or Herbie Lovebug.
Marley Marl easy.
All right. Larry Smith or Rick Rubin.
Larry Smith easy.
All right. Number 12, Dirty Diggs or the Standouts.
Dirty Diggs.
All right. Number 3, Vanderslice or Stu Bangers.
Man, that's a good one. I'm gonna go with Stu on this one.
All right, cool. 14, Easy Mo B or Ski Beats.
Yo, that's because I got a relationship with both of them. Oh, that's a tough. This actually is the toughest one you asked. Man, bro. If at any time I wanted to say both, it would be this one, but I'm not gonna do that. Let me see. All right, man. All right. I'm gonna say you know, because it's crazy because real quick, because you know, Ski was like I told you, the first pause tape I did was one of his beats.
Right.
And he also was the first like known producer to let me know that I was doing something right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I gotta go with. Ooh, this is tough, bro. You know, I'm going with Ski, bro. I was gonna say Easy Mo B, but I was just really starting to think I gotta go with Ski.
15, the Beat Nuts or the Beat Miners.
Beat Miners.
Beat Miners. And the last one, Kanye West.
Kanye.
Blaze.
Kanye. That's my favorite producer of all time.
Yeah, cool. All right. But listen, PA Dre, I appreciate you. You know, we had a little mishaps here and there trying to get this done, but I'm glad, you know, you kept your word or whatever, things like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm loving the album. I'm still playing the album. The album is dope, man. Really, really dope, man. So, like I said, keep doing what you're doing. And like I said, thank you for chopping it up with me, man.
Yeah, I'm man, you expect something from me every month the rest of this year.
Word.
You know what I mean? Whether it be an album or most likely albums though, but whether it be an album or like just singles or whatever. You know, February I did the R&B album. I'm not sure if you heard that one yet.
I haven't heard that one. I'm gonna go back and dig into some more of your catalog though.
Yeah. Last in February I did the R&B album, and then I dropped. You know, it was 2 singles I did in February, and then in March I did the Nina Simone joint, and then I did the RJ Payne, the Busta Rhymes record.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah, I
mean?
heard about that, yo. So before we go, shout out your website so heads who watch this will be able to check you out.
Yeah. So, for beats, you can go to my website, padrebeats.biz. That's biz is B-I-Z. And then like on all social media platforms, it's PA_Dre_beats.
All right, that's what's up.
And then
All right.
real quick, I gotta also let people know when you go to my beat site, there's no prices on there, and you fill out a basically an application that'll get emailed to me. That way, I just created that way. That way, I could have anybody that buy a beat from me, they can have like an intimate interaction with me.
Mm,
Instead of like, I never want to just put my joints up and then like I like to get to know the people that's about to rap over my beats. You
yeah,
know what I mean? And have
absolutely.
conversation. I might be able to guide them with, just whatever. So
Mhm.
if anybody go to my site and don't see no prices, that's the reason why. Is because I actually like to talk to the people that's trying to purchase my beats.
Yeah, that's really dope. That's really dope. All right, so PA Dre, man, I appreciate you for chopping it up. You know what I mean? And thank you for being on Strictly for My Diggers, season 4, episode 7.
Thanks for having me, man.
No doubt. All right, peace.
All right, peace.
Ain't saw rusty, leather face dusty. Catch me in the back, cutting up custody. Blood on my apron, sure you wanna trust me. Blunt in my hand, the strand smell musty. I'm a wildcat, my mom from Kentucky. Rulers is my company, enemy in my own country. Snakes wanna hunt me, I turn them into lunch meat. Dump heat, leave them slumped in the seat. Don't front, you weak. Not woke, you sleep, just a sheep in the herd. I speak the word, knee deep in the dirt, in the street I do work, put in overtime, grind over the line, so controller of mind, body and soul, time travel the globe, my flow's the cheat code, complete beast mode, can't be controlled.